Hello, everyone, and again, welcome to another new and exciting school year. I'm going to talk a little bit about COVID today and try to break down all of the guidance into something that's a little simpler and hopefully easier to understand for all of you at home so that you better understand exactly what we're going to do in different scenarios, at least at the start of the school year. That you have seen lots of guidance we have from the Ohio Department of Health and Ohio Department of Education, this guidance that came out, and we also have a fact sheet that came out from the Ohio Department of Health about quarantines. Probably the most clear document that I'm going to refer to today is this flow chart, which has been put on, it's on Ohio Department of Health. It's also on our website, and I have posted it on social media. So that's the document I'm probably going to refer to the most, and it's easiest, I think, for someone to understand. So there's a few things we're going to walk through in this. I'm going to talk about screenings, talk about masks, talk about vaccinations, and then I'm going to walk you through a few scenarios to try to help it be a little more black and white and easy to understand. First of all is screenings. This year, we're going to ask you, at least at the start of the year, to do all health screenings at home. If your student is not feeling well, they have a temperature, we want them to stay home. Again, you'll do this at home instead of us doing it here, at least to start the year. And if there's any symptoms or they're not feeling well, we ask that you keep them at home again this year. The second topic is masks. In buildings, we are, as you know, saying that it is highly recommended that everyone wear a mask, but it is a personal decision. The place that's different is on the school bus. On the bus, it is a federal mandate, and we do not have any kind of choices or decision making in that process. So we will be asking that students wear a mask on the bus due to that federal mandate. But when you're in buildings, students do have a choice, and we'll talk a little bit about that towards the end of this. I will tell you when they're on the playground or outside, we will do just like we did last year, and students won't wear a mask because it's a health risk to have them in masks unless they choose to. The next thing is vaccinations. As you know, not every age group can be vaccinated yet. So at the high school level, our staff and all students have the ability to be vaccinated. Middle school is split. Staff can be vaccinated, and half of the building they're in the age group where they can be vaccinated, and the other half is not. And then at the elementary, while all staff can be vaccinated, none of the students can. So we're dealing with a couple different scenarios in all of those different buildings. So I'm going to walk you through a few scenarios and how we would deal with those. First one, this student is, I call you, or the nurses call you because they're a close contact with another student that is tested positive. So the student has to test positive to begin with. So we call you, and number one, the student is not vaccinated. Number two, they have worn masks and stayed 3 feet away from other students. In this situation, we will let them continue to go to school, and we'll recommend that they continue to wear their mask for the next 14 days. So again, they're not vaccinated, but they are wearing a mask, and they are staying more than 3 feet or more away from other students. They'll get to continue coming to school. Second scenario, the student is not vaccinated and not wearing a mask or not 3 feet away from other students. In this scenario, when we call you, we will be telling you that they need to quarantine for 10 days. So that means they will need to, from the date of contact with that student that tested positive, they'll be out for 10 days. Now, if they're tested after day 5, so day 6 or 7, they can come back on day 7. But if you get tested 3 days after, you can't come back on day 7. It has to be after 5 days from contact. So again, no vaccination and no mask or staying 3 feet apart. That's 10 days out unless you get that test after day 5. The third scenario is a little easier, even though most of our students don't fall into this category, and that is that they have been vaccinated. So if I call you, your student has been vaccinated, we actually can look it up in a system to verify. We actually have to do that. So we will verify that they have been vaccinated. Then they are free to continue coming to school as long as they don't have any symptoms. If they test positive, that's different. But as long as they have no symptoms, they are welcome to stay at school. It's also recommended that they can wear that mask for 14 days, but that is a personal choice. So when I think about this, I know a lot of families last year talked about how they couldn't afford to miss work. If you can't afford to miss work, unfortunately, masks are probably the best bet just because it protects you from being quarantined or your student from being quarantined. more than if they're walking around without a mask. I know many families are hoping to get rid of the mask, but it does cause a little more inconvenience because we're going to have to call in quarantine if they have any close contact to someone that did test positive. So just some things to think about. Remember, keep your students home if they're sick. We don't want to pass it any more than we have to. We're hoping not to at all. It's super important to us that we can stay in school. And although we know this isn't convenient, we have over 1,000 people running around these buildings. So we're also trying to make sure that we keep everyone healthy. Think about everyone's, what they're wanting to do and what their family preferences are. Our building principals will start the year and probably throughout the year talking to students about the importance of respecting each other's decisions and each family's decisions. So if you're a family that's choosing to wear a mask or not wear a mask, we're going to be explaining to kids that it is our expectation that we treat everyone with respect, no matter what that decision is. So again, probably not the news you were hoping to hear, wasn't the news I was wanting to even give. There definitely is less risk of being quarantined if your student is wearing a mask, but still it is a personal choice except on that school bus. So as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to call me, feel free to email me, feel free to Facebook message me, whatever you need to do. I want to answer your questions to the best of my ability. If I don't have an answer, I'll get one for you. Open houses started today, so we will be seeing kids in just a few short days. Thank you so much, and I appreciate everyone's support through this tough time. Go Cards!